All righty. Doing a weekly review, and man, a really tough week this week, but obviously there's lots to learn. And it was a great reminder telling me that like you can't ever stop learning when it comes to trading. All the experiences you experience in the past when it comes to either your emotions or, just the market conditions, sometimes those emotions will come back up and test to see if you have a good enough grasp or a good enough system to get rid of it. And I want to say this month so far has been a really huge test, and it kind of shows me where my C game is at. So I'm looking to improve my C game, closing the gap from my C game to my A game so that when sorry, I'm like sick right now. Oh my gosh. But when it comes to my C game and A game, when I'm performing, at least the gap is closed and I'm not making as many mistakes. But all right. So I want to say something as well. When you're going through personal things in life, sometimes that'll definitely take a huge effect in your mental state. It does take a huge effect in your mental state. And when you bring that type of mental state slash awareness into your trading, into the next trading day, usually not the best, right? So that's also something I need to learn and remind myself, like, look, if I'm going through personal things, just step away. There's no point in putting in risk if you're not in the right headspace. And these last couple of weeks have been good reminders for me to remember that it's all about how you are mentally when it comes to trading. And this month, and I want to say end of April, has been a little bit tough. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't haven't been really following my disciplines, my daily habits as strictly as I should. I've been waking up like 6:05, 6:10 rather than 5:30, 5:45. There are some days where I skip the gym because I just don't feel like doing it. I'll write it down saying I'm going to go hit legs, but then I skip Monday. So those little things, although it might not seem like a big issue, they all add up, and it dulls up your sword, you know? Like every time you say you're gonna do something and you don't do it is essentially like taking a sword and hitting it against like a metal building or something metal, right? It just really dulls it up, and when you try to, fight the urges again, it's a lot harder than it should be because you haven't been listening to what you're saying. But anyways, with that being said, just lots of holes that I need to um, work on in my trading when it comes to the mental mindset, but it happens, you know. But an example would be just taking really mediocre trades, right? Like like I noticed like a pattern was me. I'm taking shorts sometimes at the bottom of the range. When you zoom out to the higher time frame, you see that price can still be bullish or vice versa. So, and I think that comes from my mindset of wanting to make money. I will say that there have been times really recently actually where I had conversations with one of my friends or one of my coworkers, and we're just talking about, money and how much we think we should be getting paid. So when you have your main focus, especially or your main topic of discussion over the last couple of weeks be about making money, it doesn't bleed well into trading, right? Because trading isn't about making money. It's about following a system, following a process, and following risk management. All of those play a key factor into trading success. And that's just what I was not focusing on over the last couple of weeks. I was focused on the wrong things, focused on the outcomes. I was visualizing a trade working in my direction, even though you have to come into the mindset of probabilities. So I was even in like lower probability conditions, I was visualizing price still moving in my direction. So I'm being very optimistic about certain trades, and yeah, and especially them being like B and C trades, trades that have like maybe like a 50-50 chance of working out. And I'm still thinking because I'm so obsessed with making money that I only focus on the positives that it triggered a confirmation bias for me to not see the other side of the probability, like potential to go short. So that was definitely something that I learned. And then towards the second half of May, so like the week of May 12th, right? On Wednesday, I did have a pretty tragic day. I ended up blowing up my funded accounts and I was doing a combine as well. So it's like a step backwards, but this is just the lesson that I had to learn, and now we move on from it. And maybe it was a good thing that and I'm not going to say maybe, I'm going to say it was. I'm just going to say it is. It is a good thing that it happened because then it's just reminding me that, trading or the markets don't really care about you. It's all about how you manage yourself and how you adapt. So it was a very good reminder um, to kind of face. And yeah, we move on from that. So last or this week, I took or five trades, I believe. One, two. See, that's like more than usual too. So that's something I'm gonna need to fix. But trade ended up working out. Is this break even? No, this is break even. Like this was a good trade. Reacted to a key level type 3 shift with the 15-minute type 1, 5-minute type 2, and then the hourly right here. So I think this was a very good trade. Move stop to break even. And I want to say that it's like some of these decision making, a lot of these decisions that I was making was based off of me also seeing my P&L on my funded account. I think like February or April and May, I've been like I don't want to say I've been trading the worst. Definitely my win rate was definitely not as high over the last couple of weeks, and it definitely shows that like if you're not in the right mental state, things like that can happen. But um I should be like, I think that I also have sizing issues. I notice like sometimes I'll trade, like I say $500 max, but if I want to just trade one mini and it's like Nasdaq's 30 points, then I'll like be like, okay, 600 is $100 away from 500. So my risk isn't consistent and I want to work on that this month. So like just have a cap max and never go above it. And then, yeah, seeing that I was down net $3,000 on my funded was something that kind of triggered the motivation of focusing on making money rather than caring what kind of setups I'm journaling. Like take a look at this one, right? This is terrible. Yeah, you get like a head shoulders pattern or type 3 shift, but it's not breaking these lows. You see price at close above this 50-minute high. Yeah, you do have a 5-minute type 3 shift like right here, but it's not really a type 3 shift until it breaks the low. So like little mistakes like that are just so costly in the long run. And it triggers certain emotions, especially if you're on like a losing streak. And I think that's what happened there. I was emotionally not handling myself well enough. This one was a nice type 3 scalp, focus on following the trend. That one worked out. And then this one, I think it was a terrible type 3 shift. I mean, you see it, but then at the type 3 shift, it was reacting to a level that was potentially flipping bullish. Like I didn't have a lot of context with these levels, and I think that just comes from not really preparing or not taking the time to study them. Like I'm just marking them out, but I'm not giving context to them. And then on this day, just blew the accounts where I just wasn't even taking any setups. Once the first trade I took was an L, I just all hell went loose. But about it, I got over it like a couple hours after, but it's definitely something that we want to reduce at least the risk that partakes in those situations or get rid of that emotion and shut it down as a whole. But yeah, that's going to be the review for the week. I am very excited to see how next week goes, but my mindset feels pretty good. I know what I'm doing wrong. I have set goals and I'm gonna only write down what I say I do if I know I'm gonna do it. Like if I say I'm gonna gym, but I'm not, if I know I'm not gonna gym tomorrow, then don't write it down. You know, like that's the least you can do. But also try not to skip any of the days. But yeah, that'll be it for the week. I will see you guys in the next video.